Hello, welcome to the Death Penalty Information Center's weekly video podcast. I am Richard Dieter, Executive Director of the Death Penalty Information Center. There are three items that we highlight this week on our website. One is a recent case in Pennsylvania where a federal judge has now overturned the conviction of a death row inmate. She called the case a grave miscarriage of justice and said that the defendant, James Dennis, is probably innocent. She said that the police failed to investigate the case properly, that the prosecution withheld vital evidence from the defense, and that the defense themselves barely did a bare minimum job and failed to properly represent James Dennis. So she has ordered that either this case be retried or that he be freed, and we'll be following this case very closely. Pennsylvania has had 6 inmates exonerated and freed from death row in the past. The second case of interest was in North Carolina this week, where former military officials, people who had been excluded from death penalty juries, victims' family members, all wrote briefs to the North Carolina Supreme Court urging them to protect the right of people to serve on juries regardless of their race. The case stems from the overturning of the death sentence of a man named Marcus Robinson under North Carolina's Racial Justice Act. The judge in that case held a hearing, found evidence that blacks were excluded from juries in North Carolina much more than whites, and in Robinson's case as well, reduced his sentence to life, and now that case is on appeal to the North Carolina Supreme Court, so we'll see what they do with it. However, it's interesting to note, and we have had it on our website in the past, that the North Carolina legislature, after this ruling, overturning Robinson's death sentence, repealed the Racial Justice Act, and the governor signed that, so the law for the future doesn't exist, but this case was already tried or had a hearing under this Justice Act. Finally, we note that in California, a death penalty prosecution is going forward. What's interesting about this case is there were 2 teenagers murdered. Terrible case. But the mothers of both teenagers have said that their children would not have wanted the death penalty. One was a follower of Gandhi, and the other strongly opposed the death penalty. And the mother of one of the teenagers said that she too opposed the death penalty. So all of this was presented to the prosecutor, but they are proceeding, seeking death in this San Bernardino County case. So the victims' families in this case certainly don't want the death penalty, but it's going forward, and we'll be following that as well. So there's this and more stories at deathpenaltyinfo.org. Thank you for listening.